Hi there, I'm Colin. I hope you're doing very well wherever it is that you may happen to be. I happen to be in Australia and I happen to be doing fantastic. My family has just settled in after the arduous plane journey. We're somewhat set up and used to the time zones down here, and I found the time to put together a little setup to hopefully do a reaction video. And in this video, I'm going to be reacting to Coheed and Cambria's Window of the Waking Mind. This is off of their album Vaxis Act 2, which it looks like it's just come out about a year ago, and Act 2 is A Window of the Waking Mind. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. Before I get into this, I thought I would look at some comments from the previous Cambria and Coheed song that I checked out, because I think I've stumbled into another music community here that could be quite rewarding. If you check out my channel, I cover bands that tend to have a cultish following and might be a little more on the obscure side, but what I've found is that the fans are absolutely devoted. I think somebody pointed that out in the comments here, but I just thought I would share some of the comments from that previous video. So Christian McMillan says, fair warning, you're going to keep getting Coheed and Cambria fans coming in here and commenting with zealous passion. And I've covered the Insane Clown Posse on the channel, and even talked to a former juggalo who worked for them. So zealous passion is one thing that I encourage on this channel. The band and the fans, they are basically the closest thing to a literal cult that a musical act can have. And I mean, ICP fans would definitely debate that, and even Ween fans. I've also covered Fish and Zappa on the channel. It's a reoccurring theme on the channel here, where I seem to stumble into these bands that have a really strong fan base. We are extremely passionate and blatantly nerdy and entirely obsessive. So thank you for that comment, Christian McMillan. And he also gave respect to my ears for picking out what I thought was a really good mix on that other track that I checked out. Theo, I'm going to mess these names up. Theo G. Vine of the Dead said, imagine showing up 3/4 of the way through a song. So the track that I checked out previously, I think, was part of a number of tracks that were strung together on that album. Forgive me, the information escapes my mind. I can't even remember what track I covered. I actually did end up going and listen to that full album, but it was right before I left Canada and moved here to Australia, so I didn't have time to do a proper reaction to that. I did do some footwork, but everything got fucking lost in the move. This album, like many of theirs, needs to be listened to from beginning to end, so definitely did. And he says, I love your appreciation nonetheless, and he subscribed, so thank you very much for getting involved. And if you want to check out my future reactions and future Coheed and Cambria reactions, please do subscribe to the channel. Pollywog326 says, I put Pink Floyd's The Wall in the same place as Coheed's IKSSSE. I cried, I empathized, I lost a relationship on what I learned from it. I've never decided to end a relationship from something I heard in a song, but I've definitely been moved by some music to an insane point after going through the end of a relationship. I remember I listened to Ween's song. There were two songs by Ween, If You Could Save Yourself, and then another song called Back to Basem, and they actually brought me to tears after a breakup. So music can definitely do that, and I hope you learned something and moved on from that, Polly. Kyle C1411 says, hope you do more. Favorite band for 20ish years. Amazing stuff. Their energy is explosive in sections are like no one else. P.S. You must be Canadian, which I definitely am, because you mentioned Vancouver. He's also from BC. So you know what, Kyle? Cheers. I just left BC for a number of reasons that I won't get into in this video, but I'm happy to be landed in Australia. But I'll never forget where I came from, which actually isn't Vancouver. It's Ontario. Go Leafs go. This is the year Stanley Cup 2024 incoming. All right, Shadowfire08 says, check out The Dark Sentencer next, and welcome to The Fence. Don't know what The Fence means. Maybe that means, maybe that's what fans kind of call themselves. No idea. A couple of people recommended Dark Sentencer, and I will be checking that out in a future video. But this next comment gave me something that I could not overlook. Not to tell you... Orion Zervaco says, not to tell you to dive into the deep end before you know how to swim, but you got to listen to Window of the Waking Mind. A couple of people also recommended this, and this comment here, it's a modern day Bohemian Rhapsody. As soon as they said that, I could not ignore the suggestion and had to dive right in there. So without further ado, and I really hope this video doesn't turn out to be a mess just because of my setup. I spent 45 minutes tinkering around only to realize that I was using the wrong cable. I'm really hoping that this video doesn't turn out to be a mess, and I apologize in advance if it does, but this is finally my reaction to Coheed and Cambria's Window of the Waking Mind on the Tone 98 point G'day. got kind of like a Band of Brothers vibe, you know, looking out over the battlefield kind of vibe. Let me give myself a little more volume here.
Never what you could have come to expect, and so it goes. Oh, and so it goes.
You know, it doesn't sound that bad in these crappy headphones. Really nice acoustic sound on the left side. I got the headphones on backwards. Definitely, somebody mentioned Floyd in the comments of the previous video, but this does have a Floydy feel to it.
Is that a question that needs answering right now?
They don't linger in the sections. Like, I could have spent 2 minutes there. Mind you, it probably would have been a 25-minute song.
And so concludes this chapter, as my parents unravel the entangled threads of my reality, not of design, but by accident, my perception in question, as I leave the infinite for the present, and rise a window of the waking mind.
Here's a simple story.
All right, I'm into it.
Well, of a boy locked in a place, his mind the very cell, imprisoned with his wild visions of every time and space. There's no one in this world.
All right,
The thing that complicates it.
so we have a protagonist, imprisoned perhaps figuratively.
They made to run from beyond the house of the stars. The birth must be in secret, so no prying eyes can see. There's no one else this world quite like him. Our pride and joy, are you there? Are you in there safe and sound? Tell us what you need so we can
It's a voice that I'm slowly coming around to here. Not unlike Geddy Lee.
do. We don't know what to do. Patronizing doctors with their diagnostic
I understand the lead singer has a series of graphic novels, and maybe this is an expansion on that as well.
but you can't see it like you. So monster he must be. There's no one in this world quite like him.
There's a lot of start and stop here. I feel like this would really benefit from some visual accompaniment, or perhaps
Vaxis, can you see us with
perhaps the graphic novel that the guy may have written. I don't know.
Vaxis, can you hear us with your ears?
This definitely bears a little more
Right to calculate,
looking into here.
to find what's normal is being normal. What's
This is, as the person said in the comments, this is diving into the deep end. I think I need to listen to the whole album to give this a little more context. And definitely maybe with better headphones, because I'm losing a little bit of mix.
I'll take you home, this child of ours. I'll take you home. With all my love, I'll give you.
I can imagine long-haired grown men
Keep no secrets
shedding a tear
from you.
in an audience here.
So life gets tough, but it's no excuse or your fault. My brightest star, shine your light on us all. Am I wrong, or did he save me? Shine your love on all these crazy eyes. Says you gotta rush the needle. Says you gotta rush. You'll probably set them free.
I like that guitar section.
The lioness sleeps, my boy. It's okay to cry. I'm telling you, it's okay to
I thought there was gonna be more. This is great music for like when you have to go to the bathroom really bad, and it's like coming out of the washer, man. Maybe you've been on a long drive and you weren't sure if you were gonna make it. This is good celebration music for emerging victoriously from the porta john that you finally made it to. It's beautiful. It's epic. So here are my thoughts on that. That was a lot to digest, just jumping in cold, just like what the person who recommended the video suggested for certain. There were a lot of musical ideas there, and I think that there's two things that may have affected my experience of that song. One being that I'm sitting on the corner of a bed and the mattress is slinking down under my cumbersome weight, and then my buttocks are resting on the two pieces of wood on the corner of the bed. So very uncomfortable. I was shifting around there a lot. And also my back is still sore from the flight that I took here, the 27 hours of travel that I had to get here. Those are no excuses, though. I did like the track. I'm not going to say I appreciated the track, because that means nothing without further explanation. That track seems like it's probably in the middle or at the end of an album, so definitely jumping in cold there. The sections kind of changed and happened fast and furiously, and that's a little bit of a critique that I have about the track, is that somebody mentioned Floyd in one of the previous videos. I definitely can see it. I mean, these are great, what do they call, existential kind of concepts that they're talking about. They mentioned the boy being trapped, maybe figuratively or ideologically, and then there seemed to be a parental figure coming to kind of take the boy out of that, and then it ends up in that musical triumph at the end, which I did enjoy quite a bit, despite my crude analogies. But I enjoyed that. The sections move they clip along a little too fast. Like, the one thing about Floyd I would say that would be different than this is that Floyd is fine. They're fine to just sit in a moment and really let it come alive. And through the extensive jamming that they did, by the time they got to an album, it was something that was really expressive and beautiful. So I thought the sections could just rest a little more. But that being said, this is an 8 minute and 38 second track. So maybe that would be a bit gratuitous. But if I were to be critical of it, I'd say maybe they could trim some of that and keep some of it. No one particular vocal line or melody remains in my head, so I don't know if this track was really for me per se. One thing that I would say to you Coheed and Cambria fans is maybe if you can recommend me a track that would be a more traditionally enjoyed track, verse, chorus, solo, etc. If they even do something like that. I mean, obviously not all bands have to conform to my little requirements of what an ideal song is, but I definitely like to get some reactions. There was the other track that somebody recommended in there, which I am going to check out, and I think I should maybe do a full album review of this one or the previous one, because there's something in this band I think that I'm missing, and it might just be time. There's definitely been bands that I've just dismissed in the past. Fish would be a prime example. I dismissed Fish, and then once I got into it, I probably plowed through. I did a whole series on my channel called Getting Into Fish, and it took me a damn while. And on the contrary, I spent a lot of time on the channel getting into Frank Zappa, and I never found anything that really connected me to that music that had any longevity aside from one track. But anyways, let me know if there's something you think I'm missing in the track, or maybe if I just need to make myself a little more comfortable and get those good headphones that should be shipped in here any day. Maybe that might change the experience. But nonetheless, I always enjoy checking out new music. That's kind of what my channel is about. Definitely get involved down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video or have anything to add, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you later.